Hi, hello, welcome to Spell Day. We're covering a spell every single day of the year. That was a weird jump from the 5e PHB plus 3. Those plus 3 spells are homebrew spells. We're at plus 2 at the moment. You can back in playlist to find them. Today's spell is Protection from Evil and Good.
You're fucking crazy, Shane.
If you don't like us, turn it on.
Please don't turn it on. Please don't. Where's my holy water?
Where's my holy water?
First level Abjuration, casting time of 1 action, range of touch, components verbal somatic material, holy water, or powdered silver and iron, which the spell consumes. Duration, concentration, up to 10 minutes. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against certain types of creatures: Abjuration, Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiends, and Undead. The protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. If the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any new saving throw against the relevant effect. Please, please do not put this on an item. That comes to a game I was running with. I didn't think about too much of it. Player asked for it on an item when it came up to what loot they had with the character. All right, didn't think it'd come up too much. And then they're just going up against a horde of undead, and it's disadvantage on every attack. So this still bumps into the single target problem, which the last spell covered, but this is first level, so it's even less bad, because it's easier to burn a spell slot on one target, if that makes any sense. But the big benefit is this has a retaliation baked in. Because while it offers a lot of protections, and better ones than the last spell we just covered, if you're already suffering from one of the effects that this provides some kind of resistance to, you get advantage against those effects now, to try and break out of it. While it's not Dispel Evil and Good, which also gets rid of those effects, that's more expensive, this is cheaper, lasts for a while, you can potentially get it out of them. But the big thing is, where the last spell, you might not run into that damage type too often, and how to put it? Disadvantage against monster and enemy types, and you don't have to pick one. It's all of these at the same time. It's not like picking one of the damage types of the last spell. It's not a creature type you're picking. It's just that list of creatures. Aberrations, Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiend, and Undead. How many monsters in the Monster Manual and expansions fit under that umbrella? Especially later in the game. I mean, or even early on when you're going against some lower Undead and Fiend. There's not many points in the game where you're not going to be going up against at least some of these. And you don't even need to pick. If for some reason you're in a situation where you're fighting all of these, or you're not sure which one you're about to go up against, but you know you're about to go against one of those, pick this. Disadvantage on every attack against the target. Yes, it has the issue of now you have to pick one specific target who's going to likely be hit by a lot of these attacks, but you can do it to protect someone who's weak against them. I think the big one that usually comes up is a melee fighter or martial of some kind that doesn't have a high wisdom. Because the big thing is, if they're not already under the effect, this automatically blocks charmed, frightened, or possessed, which when going against some of those enemies can come up quite a lot. Not to mention if they are already suffering from that, which you can retroactively cast it, not retroactively, but you can cast this on them, it can give them a buff to break out of those effects. Also, a funny thing is it doesn't list a gold piece price for the consumed material component. Holy water does have a price, it's in a separate part of the book, but I just find it weird it's not here. I guess that's the powdered silver and iron, which doesn't have one. Why? So the variant material component doesn't have a cost. But the base one does. Both are consumed. That's weird. So outside of it being a single target, this spell's great. Well, and concentration. But, I mean, action, first level, it targets all of those, or protects against all of those, and the effects they can do, it's so good. If you're going to get in a fight against just these targets, it's not just disadvantage. No, it's just not. All those enemies have disadvantage against that target. Fantastic. That's already great. Second, they virtually have, even though, yeah, it's only these effects against those targets or from those targets, they have immunity to Charmed, Frightened, and Possessed. Possessed being the lightest one on there, depending on the campaign, it might be really good, but Charmed and Frightened? Are you looking at that list? It's fantastic. That's fantastic. 7 out of 10. With how much praise I gave it, it's still single target and concentration. But man, is that good, especially for a first level spell. NPCs can pick this up. It's not that... Like, it should be common. That's great. Especially if you're, like the situation that we've talked about with some mages, or people have brought up in the comments as well, of a mage who just provides the buff or service, and then the person or combatant goes into the combat or quest. So the mage doesn't have to get anywhere near the front line or effect. Works in those situations, with NPCs especially. That's not bad. But, again, single target concentration. First level, that doesn't hurt to burn. It's not that bad to burn. The fact is also, it gets better in late game outside of concentration. The amount of times you're going to be running into those enemies scales up quite dramatically late game. But concentration, you might also have better spells to use and hold concentration on than that. But, you know, bit situational, single target, but the situations it can cover. Do you agree with that? I think this is a slept on because it's concentration and single target, but everything it gives, and it can be retroactively on it, not retroactively, it can go against an effect a target's already under. Yeah, 7 out of 10.